what's going on. It's like we're seeing our government crumble because we have someone that was never elected president that wants to control the president out in the open. He's upset that Trump is not doing what he's telling him to do. And Trump is not doing exactly everything to his liking. But to turn on him like this, there's sometimes, I don't know what is this about social media. And these are grown men. How old is Elon Musk? Yeah. I mean, we know you own Twitter, that's now known as X, but good God, you're a grown behind man. You're supposed to be able to have a conversation with someone without going on social media. I mean, we have so many players. We got Lindsey Graham over there in Ukraine acting like he's the president, him and Blumenthal, that you got Ukraine dropping bombs on Russia. And you know Russia's going to retaliate. Trump is trying to calm that down because they're supposed to go into peace talks. But how can Zelensky come and say, okay, oh, let's talk about peace talks when you just bomb inside of Russia when they're the second most powerful force in the world? They're right behind the United States. So they don't need help from anyone else to take out Ukraine. Then you got Elon Musk that want to be president. I mean, what's going on here? He's a wannabe president. He has an audacity to be claiming, hi y'all, welcome to Speak the Truth 2.0. I think we need to elect myself. I think we need to get honest, authentic, real people to run our country. Because all of this pissing contest going between billionaires and the Senate, who's representing us? Who's representing the people? It's like no one is taking into account what's the best for American citizens. I'm about America first, period. America first. We all should be about what's best for us. But I think, Elon, this is the wrong time. If you do not like the bill, then you should have a discussion, a private discussion with Trump, President Trump, with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, or whomever else should be involved. And y'all should try to critique it and make it so that it's not going to hurt Americans in the process. Elon is like, look, get rid of all the jobs, get rid of this, let everybody go on welfare, take away Medicaid, take away Medicaid. He like, just crush us. You can't do that because lives are at stake. People without medication will die. We had the previous administration that allowed, 14 million homeless people to come inside our country that we're responsible for taking care of. So we just can't cut Medicaid, Medicare, and do everything that Elon wants to do, because guess what, Elon? We're not robots. We're humans. And he has to understand that the decisions that he wants the president to make and Congress to make, which they have made a lot of cuts federally to hurt a lot of people, but he just wants to wipe everyone out to get the costs down. And I understand that this is something we have to do, but you can't do it drastically like that. We have to get the people out of the country so that we have more money in the country for American people. But we already have a burden of taking care of homeless, illegal immigrants have entered this country. You go into a hospital, they're in the hallways. You go to schools, teachers can't even teach American kids. The kids are far behind. You go into the Social Security office, there's more of them in the Social Security office trying to get benefits. So it's a lot that's going on, but we're going to jump right into it because there's no coming back what Elon just did. What he's just done, like, I got to just start with this. What he's done,
Epstein files.
This is crazy.
That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Now, this is clearly an escalation of the already public feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But this statement takes it to nuclear DEFCON 1 levels. The rest of this video was recorded before this tweet came out. But once it was done and I saw this tweet, I had to come back.
You know what? This is not how we want to start, but things are just rolling out so fast. Listen to this.
Elon Musk has officially declared nuclear war
Yes, he did.
against Donald Trump.
This
so just moments ago, Elon Musk
crazy.
posted the most insane statement about Donald Trump, officially ending their friendship and ending any chance the two of them had to settle this disagreement amicably. Elon Musk said, "Time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." Now, this is clearly an escalation of the already public feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But this statement takes it to nuclear, DEFCON 1 levels. The rest of this video was recorded before this tweet came out. But once it was done and I saw this tweet, I had to come back down here and add this context because it is critically important. The rest of the things I talk about in this video related to this feud are still accurate and still relevant. But this new development here has certainly taken a turn for the worse, and I have to admit, things are not looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing my hat today to show my confidence, my support, and my solidarity with the MAGA movement, but I have to be honest, I am frustrated. I'm frustrated because the two biggest players in the MAGA movement, Donald Trump and Elon Musk, are publicly fighting with each other over the big, beautiful bill. When Donald Trump was on the campaign and he announced that Elon Musk would be working with him to cut government spending, to cut the waste, the corruption, to do what no politician had the guts to do, which was to attack the deep state in a real and meaningful way, to help put America back on the path of fiscal responsibility and sustainability, I was elated. I know we all voted for Donald Trump for various reasons, from restoring the cultural order from the absolute madness the Democrats descended us into, to strengthening the border, to fixing the economy, to reviving American manufacturing. But for me, one of the key reasons I was excited to see Donald Trump become president was to cut government spending. I'm 28 and I'm about to have my first child, and the future of this country, the sustainability of the United States of America, is paramount to me. I'm a proud patriot who loves this country, who has succeeded because of the opportunities this country provides. I love everything we stand for. I love all the good that we do for the world. And I want my child to be able to experience growing up in the greatest nation ever. So making sure America doesn't go bankrupt and lose its position as the world superpower, which would allow China to swoop in and take that spot,
they're waiting to take that spot.
Important to me. So I completely understand Elon Musk's frustration that the big, beautiful bill does not cut government spending in a meaningful way. It doesn't codify any of the Doge cuts. I mean, Elon Musk got his dealerships firebombed by lunatic leftists, had his stock price fall through the floor, all because he was willing to put his neck on the line to actually make meaningful changes to the way our government operates. So in this video, we're gonna look at the Trump and Elon feud, see who's right, and more importantly, see what can be done to rectify this situation, because these two guys publicly fighting each other only hurts MAGA. As always, like the video and subscribe.
Yeah, this is like ridiculous.
Increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. Now, I'm not going to make this math class, but just to keep it short, this year, the United States will pay $1 trillion of interest on our debt.
Wow.
That is more than we spend on the military. That means half of the federal budget deficit, half of the $2 trillion of debt the United States government takes out every single year is paying the interest of our previous debt. That means the interest payment increases every year, which means every subsequent year we have to take out even more debt. Eventually and rapidly, this will create a situation in which the interest payment takes up more and more of the federal budget every single year. This will require us to take out even more debt to pay for existing services and the increasing debt payment. This creates a debt spiral where the eventual scenario will be we have to cut all spending. That means cut all Medicaid, all Medicare, all military spending.
Can't do it.
They'll have to increase taxes to basically 100% on everybody, rich, poor, and in between. This means everybody's benefits will get cut. People will go homeless. People will starve. Not to mention, if everybody's money is taken in taxes, that doesn't create any economic activity. It will crush the country, it will end United States dominance, and it will allow China to easily, without a fight, slip in and become the world superpower, imposing their communist totalitarian way of life on the entire world. Listen to Elon Musk talking about this in March of this year.
Countries are different from a person. If a country overspends and doesn't spend wisely, just like a person, a country will go bankrupt. So the reason I'm here is because I'm very worried about America going bankrupt due to the corruption and waste. And if we're going to do something about it, the ship of America is going to sink. And we're all on that ship. And this may be a message to, people out there who have, are wealthy, have a lot of means, or control companies. It's like, just remember, we're all in ship America here. If your company's not going to exist if the ship of America sinks. And we should do everything we possibly can to ensure that America is strong for far into the future.
Now, ever since Elon Musk made that post the other day, he has been on a tirade on X, publicly expressing his opposition to the bill, which has given Republicans in the House and the Senate cover to come out and do the same. He made this post yesterday that says, call your senator, call your congressman. Bankrupting America is not okay. Kill the bill. Now, in light of all the public criticism from Elon Musk, Donald Trump was asked today what he thinks of all of this, and you can tell he feels betrayed. Take a listen.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because it's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have we want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different, and I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody.
Subscribe.
And he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
Now, I can totally understand the shock and sense of betrayal from Donald Trump, seeing as one of his closest allies is publicly trying to sabotage his flagship piece of legislation. But I can also understand Elon's sense of betrayal that he took time away from his companies to actually come make a meaningful difference in government spending. And I really blame the Democrats here for being so against trying to fiscally clean up this country, trying to stop the waste and abuse and corruption happening. They protested at every turn. They called the man a Nazi. They firebombed his dealership, committed actual terrorism against the guy trying to clean up government fraud. Elon did not realize that there would be this much opposition against him trying to do an objectively good thing. I think he was blindsided by just how deep the rot in the deep state went and how hard they would fight back against his actions, inevitably making Doge, I hate to say it, a bit of a failure. He went from a $2 trillion goal to down to a couple $100 billion of cuts, which fine, some cuts are better than no cuts, but Elon feels as if he just got a giant middle finger from the Republicans, seeing as no cuts that Doge identified are actually in the big beautiful bill. Now, I'm no political strategist. Maybe they're trying to reserve these cuts for a future piece of legislation. I don't know, but I can at least understand Elon's frustration that he took the time, he took the public reputational hit, and all of his work seems to be at this point for nothing. So Elon responded to what Trump said in the Oval Office by saying, false. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night so fast that almost no one in Congress could even read it, completely contradicting what Donald Trump just said. He goes on to say, keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, but also cut all the crazy spending increases in the big ugly bill so that America doesn't go bankrupt. I truly believe Elon's intentions are pure here. He loves the country just like we all do. And he was under the impression that he was joining forces with the administration that had the guts and the public support to finally make some meaningful cuts in government bloat. Elon wants America to succeed because we are the best country on earth. We have the best values. We have the best people. We have the best governing structure. He wants us to win the AI race. He wants us to be the most technologically advanced. He wants us to be the country that sends people to Mars. He doesn't want to live in a world of Chinese supremacy. And we should all be thankful that the world's richest man, the world's smartest man, is on Team USA. And outright ignoring his efforts is not a good thing. Now, the thing that I have to criticize Elon Musk for is making this such a public spectacle. It doesn't look good for MAGA. And just thinking logically here, when you have two men with massive egos having a public spat, it makes it harder for each one to lower their weapons. And Elon knows this, as he was one of Trump's closest allies. So the fact that he decided it had to be taken public means that there is something wrong with this bill here. Donald Trump's philosophy, or at least the Republican Congress's philosophy, is that we need to just grow our way out of this problem without making any meaningful cuts to go along with it. The problem with that strategy is you're hoping and praying that growth outpaces the debt instead of making sure the plan works by reducing spending. Elon's contention with that philosophy is cutting spending is significantly more important than hoping and praying for growth. We're in this $36 trillion debt situation now because that's been the philosophy. Let's just worry about growth. Let's go into debt to grow more. The problem is our debt is becoming so unsustainable that it's getting harder and more expensive for us to continue raising debt. If people interested in buying US treasuries are looking at our financial situation and saying it's getting a whole lot more risky, they're going to demand higher interest rates for US treasuries. That means that our debt becomes more expensive, which means that it's harder for growth to outpace it. Now, this is when Trump takes a little jab at Elon Musk, saying he would have won Pennsylvania without him.
We've done a great.
However you book your hotel.
The thing about what Elon doesn't understand, that I'm having a problem with him, we didn't vote for Elon Musk, just to be clear. Trump would have won Pennsylvania without him, because he didn't just win Pennsylvania, he won all the swing votes. And I don't think that swing states, and he won the popular vote. So I think that's went over Elon's head. He's like, if it wasn't for him, then Trump wouldn't have been elected. Trump was elected because the people overwhelmingly voted him in. That was the first time, they said, in 20 years or whatever, 23 years, that a Republican even had the popular vote. So he was going to win with or without Pennsylvania. He didn't even have to win Pennsylvania to win the election, because he won all the other swing states. So I think that Elon is getting really puffed up, but I feel as though with him coming out as a man that has the wealth that he has, and a man that runs companies, he should know better than to make this public. These are big dogs. Trump is the most powerful man in the world. Elon is the most richest man in the world. That's something that you go and you iron out, and you go and talk. People don't talk to each other any longer. These people are sitting the highest at the food chain, and instead of having a conversation, I know they have each other numbers. Instead of getting on the phone or having a meeting to discuss the concerns, he's on freaking Twitter, that's now known as X, voicing his grievances about the president of the United States, somebody that allow you into his administration, that allow you into every cabinet meeting, that allow your little child to run around in Oval Office. Trump haven't even had his own grandkids run around the Oval Office.
Well,
it's crazy.
This goes to show you that him and Elon were never really friends. Because someone who's friends with you, even if you have an altercation, wouldn't publicly put you on blast.
But someone that supports you.
Yeah.
I mean, did he ever support Trump, or was he
That's
trying to
the
run
question.
Trump?
Yeah.
You know, was Elon, you know, because we're like, he trying to act like he the vice president. We saw more of Elon than J.D. Vance.
Yeah, Danielle, look up Joe Biden 1994 crime bill. See someone controlling people.
We saw more
Black
of
people.
Elon than J.D. Vance. I don't know why Elon felt as though that he won the election. Newsflash, Elon, you didn't win the election. We voted for Trump. Not because of anything that you've done or anything that you gave. The competition sucked. You know, we had a horrific former administration that caused all these problems that we're going through. It's the freaking Democrats. They caused all of this. They caused the open borders. They caused 14 to 20 million homeless people coming in. There's adding more burden on our economy. We already had a $36 trillion debt, and we spent $570 billion on those people, because they wanted votes. It was never about helping people. It was about power. It was about retaining power at America's expense. Now we got New York look like Gotham City without Batman. We got California looking like a third world country. We got all this crime. We got all these people inside the country that we can't even get out. We can't even get the worst of the worst out, because the Democrats don't fight for Americans. They fight for everyone else. You got Lindsey Graham over there in Ukraine. Trump don't even know. He's making deals, telling this man they're going to try to attack Russia, the second most powerful freaking country in the world. They are nuclear armed. They don't want to poke the bear like that. And Putin already said he's going to retaliate. He's going to show them who he is. Because Zelensky wants the war. He wants World War III. They don't care about people. None of them do. Zelensky is just as bad as freaking Putin. He's a dictator just like him. They're kidnapping people off the streets right now, and the people want the war to end. They don't even like him in this country. And he knows as long as the war is going on, they can't have elections. He was supposed to have been out of office a year ago. And this man is running around. He doesn't want to give up the position. So Lindsey Graham is over there. Who put Lindsey Graham in charge to speak for America? Isn't he the senator of South Carolina? Do you know what's going on in South Carolina? They're doing bad in South Carolina. And their congressman is over in Ukraine. And guess how much? He spent $500,000 of our taxpayer dollars. That's what Lindsey Graham has done. $500,000 flying back and forth to Ukraine. But we got our own problems here, y'all. You see what's going on with Elon and Trump and sending all this backstabbing from everywhere. Everywhere, while we're in the middle. The American people can't even get to focus, our government to focus on our concerns. I understand what Elon is saying, but guess what? You can't cut all of us off of Medicaid and Medicare, and people starving and people suffering like that all at once. You know, he's not going to feel the impact because he doesn't know what it is to go be without. When you have someone that's been rich, not just rich, wealthy, their entire lives, that never slept out in the street, they never had to worry about a light bill, they never had to worry about paying their mortgage or rent, or keeping their gas on or lights on. He doesn't understand what it's like to suffer. He doesn't know what it is to go hungry. His kids won't suffer. So Trump understands, even though Trump is a billionaire, Trump understands we can't cut everything like that. We have to do this in stages. You know, maybe not this year, maybe next year, do a little bit more. But you just can't wipe out. He already came in with Doge and wiped out American jobs. 258,000 people were federal workers, or 48,000 lost their jobs. Those were living wage jobs. Those people had great health care, great benefits, sick leave, annual leave. They had career jobs so their kids could go to college, that they could pay for their homes, their cars. They were wiped out. that hurt a lot of Americans. That didn't hurt the illegal immigrants. They still working. That hurt Americans. Yes, we're having jobs come in. Yes, Trump got all these businesses that no other president has done. Elon's not talking about that. Elon didn't bring all these investments in this country. Trump is bringing it. Trump is the one that did a $500,000 deal with Apple. Trump is the one that did $1 trillion+ deal with Saudi Arabia. Trump is the one that has Nivea giving 500 million. I'm sorry, $1 billion. I'm sorry, it's billions. These people getting billions of dollars into our economy doing business here. And if you do business in America, then you're not even going to suffer the terrorists. That's Trump. But he got to worry about Ukraine. He got to worry about Gaza. He got to worry now about Elon Musk. Who knows in next year or whatever when they run again if the Republicans are still going to have the House and the Senate. And they've only passed 5 bills since they've been in there. But you just can't wipe out people. Elon, we are not robots. Decisions affect people. People will be dying. They can't get their medication. We can't even get the people that's putting a burden on our economy out of the country. That's not helping us. Bank of America is closed. Bank of America is closed. We can't continue. We have no more money to support the war in Ukraine. That's why it needs to end. America can't keep paying for their war. That's a fact. Look what we're going through. We got to give us our $350 billion back from Ukraine. Give us all the money that we've given out. We can't even help ourselves. We can't afford to keep sending money and building up the military in Ukraine when we need to build up our own military. So we got to be real about this. But I do believe that Elon, I had a problem with him. Because instead of going to department heads, managers, and say, okay, where can we curtail, the spending? What departments can we let go? He just did a clean sweep. You don't do that. This took years to get like this. This is not an overnight fix. And guess what, Elon? Everything's not going to be done under Trump's presidency. It's impossible. It's too much bull crap that he was given to him, and nobody held that jacked up Democrat administration and still don't hold them accountable.
I have completely no respect for Elon.
I think he's wrong.
I never had respect for him in the first place.
He's wrong. He might as well just go back to being a Democrat because not only he's trying to turn the Republicans and the Democrats already, they don't have no leader, 29% approval rating. Right. So they not doing nothing for anyone. But now you add more fuel to the fire while Trump is the only one trying to help us.
What Elon needs to focus about and worry about is his son. And that lifestyle his son has chose is what he needs to worry about and focus on. Yeah, but this isn't like I didn't not expect this from Elon. I never trusted this guy. I never liked this guy. Thought he was taking J.D. Vance's place. He was like it was almost the vice president. He was too close to Trump. I think that it's a good thing actually that now he's not going to be there.
But now he's talking about the reason why they haven't released the Epstein files is because Trump is in it. So he's like, that was like his nuclear bomb. Yeah. That was like drop the mic. So that partnership, that relationship is over. But he's trying to ruin him. It's like, you're not going to do what I say. This is what I'm going to do.
And it shows too how much he doesn't care about the American people, because he heard the talks that Trump's having with different people in the White House about what's going on. He doesn't care. He's still going to make it all about him and go to war with Trump. This shows that he doesn't care about the American people. At the end of the day, he has to understand he's not elected into any office. Trump is the president of the United States of America. Trump would have became president with or without him. That's what he thinks, that people voted for Trump because of him. He's delusional. This man is really delusional. He's delusional.
partnership is imploding in spectacular fashion tonight as a bitter war of words develops between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. During a press conference in the Oval Office, President Trump said he was surprised and disappointed at Mr. Musk's criticism of a key piece of his legislation. Elon Musk responded on the social media platform X, which he owns, with a series of increasingly disparaging remarks about his former boss, calling him ungrateful, saying that his tariffs will cause a recession, and alleging that he is named in the files of the late convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. Watching it all is Sarah Smith.
Give it to Elon as a presentation from our country. Thank you, Elon.
A golden key to the White House was Elon Musk's leaving present. Now, less than a week later, Donald Trump might want to think about changing the locks.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. I was surprised because...
Today, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz was the Oval Office guest star, but Elon Musk and his criticism of Mr. Trump's spending bill dominated the conversation, to the president's obvious irritation.
But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem.
Just minutes later, Elon Musk replied on X, saying, "False. This bill was never shown to me even once and was passed in the dead of night, so fast almost no one in Congress could even read it."
Where is he? Come on up here, Elon.
Mr. Musk obviously adored being in the spotlight as he campaigned alongside Donald Trump. Today, he's claiming that without him and the more than $250 million he donated, the president would have lost the election. They were once seen together everywhere. Now their row is being conducted in plain sight, on social media. Mr. Trump on Truth Social upped the ante with, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy." Musk called that an obvious lie, and then really escalated the abuse, suggesting Donald Trump has withheld files related to Jeffrey Epstein, who was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and died by suicide in jail, because he's named in them. Mr. Musk tweeted, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT."
Wow.
Mr. Musk and his chainsaw were brought into government to aggressively cut government spending. A pointless exercise, he thinks, if President Trump will blow all the savings on tax cuts in his spending bill.
You know, I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
Which is that one?
Donald Trump is now suggesting the easiest way to save money would be to terminate Elon Musk's billions of dollars in government contracts and subsidies. It was probably inevitable this bromance would turn sour, but no one expected it to go this bad, this fast.
We'll be speaking to Sarah in a moment, but first, our business editor, Simon Jack, is here. Simon, Elon Musk, known as the world's richest man, is he still?
He still is, but blimey, this has been an expensive foray into politics. I reckon Tesla shares are down 14% today, mainly on that comment about losing subsidies and contracts. That's the real killer here. It's not about the personalities, it's about the money. So I reckon Tesla shares have lost $140 billion worth today. He owns about a seventh of that, so you're about 20 billion down just on the day. That would be enough to put him in the top 10 of richest people in the UK on his losses just today. I reckon since the high point, the bromance, the height of the bromance, Tesla shares are down some 40%. So that's probably cost him about 70 billion. And don't forget, big losses also potentially on SpaceX. Now, SpaceX shares aren't publicly traded, but the US has largely outsourced a lot of their satellite program to Elon Musk. That's worth hundreds of billions as well, 350 billion. He owns 42% of that. If that was a public traded stock, I think it would be down even more than Tesla. So by my reckoning, since the height of their romance, he's lost over $100 billion. There are only 14 people in the history of the world who've ever made that much money. So as I say, one of the most expensive forays into politics of all time.
Huge figures there. Simon, thank you very much. Let's go back to Sarah Smith in Washington. And Sarah, this is all spectacular theatre, but what are the real world consequences of this spat?
Yeah, well, this could be really important for the Trump administration, an administration that this time last week, Elon Musk was at the absolute heart of, and as he was leaving, said he wanted to remain a close advisor to Donald Trump.
No, not now.
On social media, he's going so far as suggesting that Donald Trump ought to be impeached and replaced with the Vice President, J.D. Vance. I mean, it's such a quick turnaround. And it could really matter also because obviously Elon Musk has a very loud voice. He owns his own social media platform, X, so he can make his views and his criticism very much heard. But also, he has that enormous checkbook. Albeit, he's lost a lot of money today, he still has a lot that he could spend. He had promised $100 million to be spent on political groups that are controlled by Donald Trump. Will that money now turn up? That seems quite unlikely. He might be more likely to target that at representatives and senators who, say, for instance, vote for this great big spending bill. He could then use his cash to target them, to try and get them replaced by other candidates. That's something that representatives do genuinely worry about, and Elon Musk has a big enough checkbook to make that a real threat. So he can use his money to continue to try to influence policy. And then today, on social media, among all the other things he's been saying, he's even suggested that he might start his own political party, which he could afford to finance. So far, he's had almost 2 million responses to that, with over 80% of them encouraging him to set up his own party.
Sarah, thank you very much. Sarah Smith there.
Wow.
Germans have figured out.
This is like, no, I didn't see this coming. I don't know if any of you guys saw something. Trump was just giving this man a supposedly special key. And this is like unbelievable.
That was like yesterday.
It was yesterday. He just gave him, he just left the White House. This
President
is
Trump and
crazy.
Elon Musk are fighting in haymaker social media post exchange all day.
It's making
The
great
spat
news.
could affect the fate of the president's economic agenda because Musk now fiercely opposes the legislation that carries it. You might recall that Musk poured more than $200 million last year into campaigns to elect Trump and other Republicans.
That's nothing.
If that faucet
He lost
closes,
$100 billion
that is a
now.
story. And Musk this afternoon mused about creating a third party. Is he serious? Vast sums of money and 200 million X-followers might matter if he is. But it's more than the histrionics and politics. Musk and his Doge associates, we need to remind ourselves, had unfettered access to several large federal government databases. And they ran some of the artificial intelligence models known as Grok through some of them. To what effect, we don't know. What Musk and Doge did or did not do with that data and what it learned from it about people, rival contractors, government functions, also remains a mystery. When Musk was part of the Trump inner circle close enough for Teslas to be featured on the south lawn of the White House, there was some theoretical supervision of all this. Now, with Trump suggesting he might cancel federal contracts with Musk, who knows where the animosities and threats might lead. In other words, this Trump-Musk divorce, if permanent, could be with us for a long time and in unimagined ways. We begin tonight with CBS News political director Finn Gomez, White House reporter Aaron Navarro, and Politico's Sophia Kite. Great to have you with you. Finn and Aaron, you have way too many ties for the family table, but I'll overlook that. Finn, let me start with you. What do you make, what should our audience make of what has transpired today? Because it got ugly, and it got ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, the bromance is over. The bromance is dead. You know, I think earlier in the cycle, earlier in the year, we heard...
And billionaire bromances really are of a very special kind.
They are, especially when they're the two of the most powerful people in the country and the world. Like, I think one could argue. And I think what we're seeing now is a schism within the party and within the administration. And it's, you know, and you're seeing it, and it's flaming out in historical proportions here. But these two close allies are now
not any longer
in a very public setting. And again, you know, I did kind of call this. I did think that this was going to eventually happen. I mean, just ask Mike Pence and others who were once close with Donald Trump. I mean, this is sort of has like a natural sort of like, you know, organic end to this sort of relationship. But the ramifications are significant, both politically and also legislatively, where we are right now with this big, beautiful bill. But also, as you've seen, Musk is already threatening to start a third-party, potential third-party entity.
Start your third party.
Don't be serious, but I mean, if a man who spent $277 million, the largest single individual donor in the 2024 cycle, wants to get some retribution that way, he can.
Aaron, my quick notes here. SpaceX, one of Musk's companies, just one, 49 contracts with the federal government with a projected potential value just shy of $20 billion.
Yeah, $19.7 billion from SpaceX alone. It's certainly a big impact to Elon's companies, but you know, the world's richest man has been throwing his money all around. He spent $25 million.
Provides a service to NASA.
That's right. That's right. And he already, the service he's provided for the government, at least that's gotten most attention, right, is the Department of Government Efficiency. It's Doge. And you've seen him kind of embed a lot of people younger than I that work for him on SpaceX or Tesla that have been ingrained in these federal agencies are still part of these federal agencies to, in his idea, continue the work of Doge. And it was looked over last week, but in the budget proposal from the White House, they actually propose increasing the number of, quote, Doge staffers from 89 to 150, signaling that while there is this very public spat between Elon Musk and Trump, the work of Doge is quietly still being supported by this White House.
Sophia, this disagreement today, which really burst into sort of a vitriolic way on social media, got borderline incendiary with one tweet I know the control room has. Reads as follows from Elon Musk's X account. Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT.
That is so crazy. And that sounds so petty for someone of his caliber. It just doesn't make any sense to me that people of that caliber, aren't these supposed to be educated people? Anybody graduate from Harvard or one of these pristine colleges like Princeton? I mean, even if they didn't, what happened to people having conversations without getting on social media? Like if Elon doesn't like the projected what he thinks is going to happen to this country about this big, beautiful bill, then he needs to sit down. He should have sat down and had a conversation with Trump, because Trump does respect what he has to say. He's already proven that. But to go on social media and you're trying to convince the Republicans not to pass the bill, then what's going to happen? Because they have to pass something, or the interest rate is going to increase by 65%. So we have to pass the bill, because guess what? Americans are going to be pooped on no matter what. So we have to do something. But I just think that Elon is a freaking, he's a thorn in Trump's side right now, because he's became such a freaking negative, just like that.
Yeah,
he's a menace now.
Someone say Elon expected special treatment. Elon has always had a child mind. Someone, James, you clearly don't look anything up, because you know all of the wealthy people, most of the wealthy people voted for Trump, right? And to be wealthy, you gotta be a pretty smart person. But anyway, yeah, Elon, he's a snake, but I'm not surprised at this at all.
I just believe that the things that he wants, he is not going to get. So he can go ahead and start his third party or whatever he wants. But he has to understand, like, he's trying to build AI, and guess what? He's poisoning the black folks in Memphis right now with these AI factories. People are getting cancer. So that's a whole nother subject about this man. This man doesn't care about human life. Yeah. He think that we're all robots, and the government operates like he operates his own personal companies. He's the boss, but he's not the boss of the United States of America. He's not elected president of this country. He didn't get that memo, y'all.
Didn't he affect government jobs?
Yeah, he got rid of like 248,000 federal jobs. That hurt people. We want more jobs. And we talking about illegal immigrants coming in taking jobs. And the first thing that Elon wanted to do, okay, you're going to cut government spending, but those were livelihoods. Those are people with families, with mortgages, with car notes, with kids in college, with electric, light bills, and you pulled the rug from underneath their feet. They didn't have any old jobs. They didn't have Burger King jobs. They had living wage jobs. And those are hard to come by. But he doesn't care. He wants Trump and some of the Republicans, the rhinos, they want, to cut as many people off of Medicaid as they can. They want them to attack Medicare. They want them to attack, any kind of, they just want them to do cuts that's going to hurt the American people. And you're going to have a lot of suffering out here if he has his way.
James, you're saying random things without any evidence. Like, provide evidence to your claims you keep making. Because we all know that's not true. That's just a claim you made up.
Yeah, Elon wants special treatment. I've never seen any elected president get elected and someone that's non-elected have as much access to a president like Elon had. If President Trump was in his Oval Office, Elon was there. If President Trump was getting on his helicopter, Elon was there. If Trump was flying to Saudi Arabia, Elon was there. Elon was on every plane ride, every plane trip. He was in every cabinet meeting. Guess what? He wasn't elected to the cabinet. He was in the cabinet meetings. Elon had more access to President Trump than J.D. Vance. I saw more Elon than J.D. Vance, and now Trump, he's having a tantrum. Elon is having a tantrum right now because he's all puffed up. He's saying, I got you elected, Trump. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be okay. All right, pat you in the back. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be president.
Hey,
really?
Shout out Gary. Now Gary said, I have a 6-year degree and a 4-year degree, and I voted for Trump. And Kawhi said, I want to know your opinion on this statement. She said, the placement of Elon is going to come back and bite whoever the next Republican nominee is. What do you think of that?
That the what's going to bite?
That the placement of Elon, like Elon being so involved, is going to...
Elon is too involved, but the thing about it is so much backstabbing. You have the Rhino Republicans that they're working against Trump every turn. There's only been 5 bills that have been passed through this Congress that we have the House and the Senate. They're not even pushing the bills through. Trump has signed, I don't know how many executive orders, 200, 300? Who knows? He's signed record numbers of executive orders, but nothing is hitting his desk to be signed. Trump doing his big, beautiful bill, he's trying to get a lot of stuff in it all at once. Maybe he has to break it up. But Elon is having a pissy fit and a tantrum because Trump is not making the cuts how he wants it. So he's trying to kill the bill. If the bill is killed, how much time do they have to fix the bill? Because if the bill doesn't pass, they're saying that we will suffer a 65% tax increase. So that's going to really, that's going to hurt American citizens. But it's not going to hurt Elon. And Elon needs to go on Skid Row somewhere and find out what it feels like not to have money, what it feels like to sleep on the streets, what it feels like to not be able to feed your little ex.
All I have to say is, just right now, like to the guys, like grown men that are coming here and trying to insult my mom, it just shows how much of a coward you are because you wouldn't do that in person.
They try to insult me.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that in person. These internet clowns.
The thing about it is that they're men with little balls and they're cowards because if you feel so emboldened that you can't speak in a clear, concise manner and, just have an opinion. These are called opinions. This is not your opinion. This is my opinion. It belongs to me. This is America. So this is called freedom of speech. If you don't like the content, there's thousands of other content creators that will tickle your ear and they'll say what you want to hear. But that's not this channel. This channel is authentic and it's about being real. Nobody's here to impress you. I don't care what you don't like or whatever the case may be. But when people try to insult people, I love who I am. God, I am perfectly and wonderfully. I love my black skin, I love my hair, I love my complexion, I love everything about me. And you can't even be on here because you got people, they become offensive when they don't like what you are saying. That's when the little cowards come out because, they don't know how to communicate. So they want to attack you, and they can't do that on their jobs. They can't do that with their bullies. They can't do that with their wives or their husbands or their neighbors. They can't do that. But see, online, they're faceless, and they could come on and they can try to, throw out insults because they're an empty vessel.
Dang, Bama Boy said that we're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And see, we know who we are. See, you can't be on here if you don't know who you are in Christ. You have to know who you are. And I love me. I love me. Everything about me. I love how God created me. I'm glad that I'm vocal. I'm a legislative, director of legislation, and I'm a political director. I love that. I'm being that. I love being outspoken. I've been in the room with President Biden and all of them. Just 4 years ago prior, I campaigned for them. I love being in the White House, walking the hall, saying, hey, Bernie Sanders, or them coming to my city and I'm greeting them. I love when I was in the DNC on the floor, meeting everybody around the world. I love giving speeches. I have receipts. You can look at my other videos. You'll see Biden and myself. I could show you me with all these different political leaders because I was a Democrat. But this election, I said, there's no way on God's green earth that I was going to vote for Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim. I drew the line in the sand. They were unfit and unqualified. And if I had known that Biden was unfit as he was, I would have never campaigned as hard as I did for him. Canvassing and phone banking, having my people calling all around the country. I would have never supported him. And as a black person, should have never supported him because of the 1994 crime bill that he was the author of that caused mass incarceration of black people. Black people should have never voted for that man. Or Kamala, who also incarcerated black people. Trump didn't do that. Trump had the First Step Act. Look it up. That helped black people. Okay, so that's who's talking to you. I'm not just someone on here. I have skin in the game. I've been out there campaigning. I've been out there, boots on the ground. But now I voted for Trump. And if you look at my viral video, I'm on there. I supported Biden. I voted for him, but not this time. Trump, Trump, Trump. Okay? That's who I support now. And the stuff that's going on is because of this administration. We didn't sign up for open borders.
Blay, you literally have no profile picture. LOL to that.
We didn't sign up for open borders. I didn't sign, when I was campaigning for Biden to come out, I didn't sign up for that. If I knew that was the plan, to open up our borders and allow the cartel to come in, Venezuela, empty out their prisons, 350,000 missing kids, fentanyl, Chinese got 54,000 people here, you got 2 million gotaways, you got 15,000 rapists, convicted rapists, 13,000 convicted murderers. We got all this going on in this country. They on our Medicaid, they taking our Social Security, then they wanted to start a war. The war that we're dealing with in Ukraine should have never happened.
I feel like...
And they could have prevented it, but they wanted that war. Biden wanted the war. They wanted the war.
I feel like Elon's the type to do something next, like leak Trump's number. Like now he's trying to make up things and find dirt on Trump.
Trump thought that he could be trusted. Yeah. He didn't know that he was an enemy. You know about wolves in sheep clothing. You have to watch the people that you have around you. You have to be careful of the people that you let know your business. You can't tell people that you think that you're on the same page with everything about you, because people talk about you. You know that, right? Nobody on here is exempt. You got say how you feel to the people at your job, and you'll find out who they for. Say you for Kamala and Biden and them, because there's only a 29% approval rating. That's the lowest approval rating, I think, probably in the history of the Democratic Party, because it's not the same party. Obama made it a gay party, LGBTQ. Then Biden made it a transgender party. And Kamala tried to make it the party of abortion. Yeah, and illegal immigrants. Let's not forget about that. But what about Americans? They let the inflation be sky high, the economy out the door, 2 wars, all this stuff, and this harm they cause to American citizens. And Trump inherited all of this mess. And they trying to act like he did it. Trump didn't do this. Trump didn't do any of this. The stuff that's going on, he didn't do. He's brought in to try to fix it, and guess what? good old America, we fight him every step of the way, like everything he does is wrong, and that's a lie from hell.
It's almost like Trump can't catch a break. It's
Oh,
like,
think of my preference.
it's almost like he can't catch a break. Somehow, everybody like turns on him and turns against him.
He's trying to do what's right. It might not seem like, but he's trying to do. He did more than Biden did in 4 years and 4 months. You look at the inflation now. Look at the economy now. It's working. It's working. The borders are closed. It's working. The stuff that he's doing, he's only been in office 4 months, and it's working. Again, he got Elon. He's an adult child. You don't do what I want to do. Guess what? I'm going to tell them this. You don't want to release that because you're in it, you know?
I got something for Elon. Why doesn't he just go back to South Africa?
Yeah, go back to South Africa.
Live his happy life in South Africa. Like, you're from there, right? Just go back to South Africa.
You are not our president, Elon. You're not
and
even
now
the
it's
vice
getting
president.
personal. Fox News team coverage. Kim Strassel joins us in just moments.
But we begin with senior national correspondent Rich Edson. He's live from the White House for us. So, Rich, what an exciting day there. It looks like Musk has taken this fight to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's still ongoing thanks to the social media platform he's on. Musk has been responding to the comments that President Trump just made a short while ago in there. At least for the visitor in person, the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, he seems to so far have had a good visit. Trump even praised his communication skills, asking if his German was as good as his English. So they had the Oval Office session, lasted about 45 minutes between the two world leaders. They, and by they I mean largely President Trump, discussed trade, Ukraine, and the Biden administration. The president also criticized Elon Musk, who has strongly opposed the Republicans' big, beautiful bill. Trump says Musk only opposes it because Congress is cutting electric vehicle subsidies.
He never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
Well, Musk was watching and responded, whatever. Keep the EV solar incentive cuts in the bill, even though no oil and gas subsidies are touched. Very unfair. But ditch the mountain of disgusting pork in the bill. In the entire history of civilization, there has never been legislation that both big and beautiful. Everyone knows this. Either you get a big and ugly bill or a slim and beautiful bill. Slim and beautiful is the way. He's still going on X. He says, without me, Elon says, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. I can't imagine that doesn't go replied to at some point now after the president meets with the chancellor. Now, on to Ukraine in this meeting. On Ukraine, the president likened the war there as two kids that sometimes need to fight it out, but then stressed he wants to stop the killing and says if Russia is out of line, you'll be amazed at how tough he can be. Merz noted that Ukraine is targeting Russian military positions while Russia is targeting Ukrainian civilians. A lot going on. John and Sandra, back to you.
As always, Rich Edson, thank you. John?
All right, let's dig a little deeper on all of this. Kim Strassel is a Wall Street Journal opinion columnist and a Fox News contributor. I was going to start with foreign policy, but I think we have to start with personal relationships here. This is what set it all off, this back and forth now between Trump and Musk in the Oval Office. Listen here.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped Elon a lot.
So after the president said that, Musk shot back. What are you talking about? Nobody ever told me about the bill. I had no idea what was in it. It was passed in the middle of the night. Nobody got a chance to look at it before it went through the voting procedure in the House. But I mean, I was joking with Sandra. Whoever had in their bingo card that these two would split up? I think just about everybody.
You know what? I actually did have it on my bingo card, John, or at least an upset like this, because the thing you got to know about Elon Musk is he is famous for speaking his mind. And look, that's why I think Trump is maybe incorrect about what has inspired him to do this. I would argue that he kept his peace while he was officially working still on Doge, and then when he was released from that, he felt more capable of being honest. But I get his frustration too, by the way. I mean, he supported these Republicans in part because of their willingness on the campaign trail to say that they were going to roll back Joe Biden's spending blowout. He then devotes 5-6 months of his life to Doge and trying to cut waste and spending, and he was very clear that that's why he did it. He was very worried about America's financial picture. And then we have this Republican bill, and by the way, I am as happy as anyone that the tax provisions will stop a tax hike. But the spending cut provisions in it are really pathetic. He's saying something that's pretty obvious. Republicans have not really backed up their rhetoric. They're not doing much on the spending side, and that's what provoked him to come out and say this.
You know, I should point out, when after Trump said, "I'm very disappointed in Elon, it helped Elon a lot," Elon fired back in a reply to somebody else to say, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election.
That's
Dems
a
would
lie.
control the House, and Republicans would be 51-49
That's a lie.
in the Senate." And then he tagged that by saying, "Such ingratitude." As Rich Edson was saying, I mean, you can count down from 10 for the Trump response to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's very accurate either, what Elon just put out.
It's not
I think that
accurate.
Donald Trump, I mean, he certainly enjoyed the money, and I think that there was definitely a benefit to having that kind of a benefactor behind them as a money machine. But the fundamentals of this election went a lot deeper than just the cash
That's
flow.
right.
And if you want proof of that, look for the fact that Democrats still outspent Republicans by and large, and they still lost the election.
That's right.
So where do you think this goes in the future now? I mean, if you take a look at Musk, he was beloved on the left. They loved him for his electric vehicles. Then he became a pariah of the left. Republicans began to embrace him, but I think that his popularity with Republicans pales in comparison to those of Donald Trump. So who's going to be the odd person out here, Musk or Trump?
Well, look, I'd like to hope that Republicans decide to view this for what it is, which I would argue is it's pretty constructive criticism. I mean, put aside the green tax credits, and Musk is wrong on that. Like, if we're going to get rid of handouts and we're going to get rid of government waste, that should be included in the pot. But he's trying to say, look, you need to really make a bigger hit at spending cuts here. If they took that constructive advice, by the way, they'd come out of this with a better bill and be able to do more for the economy as well too. And then, because this relationship is good, look at all the ideas and the energy he brought to this Department of Government Efficiency project in Washington. This is the kind of fresh thinking the GOP can benefit from. He's got a big following. A lot of people are energized by it. I think that this would be a relationship both sides have a benefit to repairing at this point.
Well, the end of this bromance is going to be a messy one because they both have very big megaphones. Kimberly, thanks for switching topics on us so quickly. Appreciate it.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, that relationship is done. That, you know, after he tried to say something about Elon is saying that Trump is not releasing the Epstein files because I guess there's some evidence that he's in it. So I don't think coming back from that is that he's not going to come back from that. That relationship is done.
Fine.
When you're in a relationship and people start telling your personal business things that you share with them personally, it's a done deal. You know, it's a done deal. It's not going to end well. So when Elon did that, I think that he ended the relationship forever. And I just feel like, you know, when adults are going to be adults. I mean, these people, everything does not have to be expressed. When you have an issue with a friend or with your husband, with your wife, with your boyfriend, with your kids, you shouldn't go on freaking social media to tell the world about it. The world don't care about you. They don't care what you're going through. So when people get on social media, instead of talking to the people and try to speak in a clear, concise manner, and they come out like that, it doesn't benefit anyone. I think that was the wrong way to handle this. It looked like Trump, every time you saw Trump, you would have thought that Elon was the vice president. Everybody, I mean, if Trump got on his helicopter, Elon was on it. Even had every time I turned around, X was in the freaking Oval Office running around. You know, everywhere Trump went, Elon went the whole time that he was part of Doge. And now, as soon as his time ended, now look at it.
Between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk that has escalated sharply just in the past couple of hours. Musk has been critical of the budget plan that President Trump supports, talking about its spending and adding to the national debt. This morning at the White House, President Trump said, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. Not long after that, Musk posted on X, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Around 2:30 this afternoon, President Trump posted on Truth Social, Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandates, talking about electric vehicle mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, and he just went crazy. And in the past hour on X, Elon Musk posted, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and that is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Tesla shares and Trump media shares down sharply today on Wall Street.
Okay, holy, jeez.
This is so crazy that it's almost comical. It's like, it seems like we're living in like the upside down world. It's just amazing how this is a good example how quickly people can turn on you. I mean, it's just it's unimaginable that these two were just in the Oval Office a couple of days ago. Trump handed him a key, and now today they're fighting. Elon wants to put it out. I don't understand what Elon thinks that he's going to gain doing this. Like, what is he going to gain? Like calling Trump out. I don't understand, what does he expect to come out of this? Trump is hosting the president from Germany today, and all the, he hosts the German chancellor, and all this crap is going on. It's like, it's so incredible. It's all incredible. And that's what it looked like. It looked like a civil war that's going on between the two. Which doesn't make
when
any
he finds
sense.
out that Elon Musk said, I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, work-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it.
Look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
Has a civil war broken out between Trump and Elon? As many of you know, Musk has come out swinging against the big, beautiful bill, calling it a, quote, disgusting abomination. A post that got 134 million views.
Oh, my God.
Just hours later, he called on his millions of ex-followers to call their senators and congressmen and kill the bill. For their part, the Trump White House responded, as you just heard there, with an unusual degree of measured calm, confirming that while there are concerns about the bill, Trump is sticking by it. Now, at the heart of the issue here is two conflicting projections regarding the big, beautiful bill. One from the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, and a very different projection coming from the Office of Management and Budget. The CBO's projections claim that the bill will increase the deficit by $2.4 trillion over the next 10 years, whereas the OMB projects that the bill will actually lower the deficit by $1.4 trillion over the next 10 years. So the deficit hawks are seizing the CBO numbers, while the supporters of the bill are trumpeting the OMB's numbers. And we've talked about this before, but this does unfortunately reflect an inherent dysfunctionality inside the GOP. We have to understand there's a fundamental difference between congressional Republicans and congressional Democrats. The Democrats are entirely aligned between their leadership and their grassroots, their base. Both want more spending, both want more government, both want more regulations, right? But for the Republicans, there's a breakdown. There's a radical discrepancy between their leadership and their grassroots. So while the whole of the grassroots wants less government, less spending, and the like, only about half of their congressional leadership, the Republican leadership, share in those sentiments. So half of Republican congressmen do want to cut spending, But the other half are perfectly happy spending more, particularly on their own pet projects like the military-industrial complex. So the stream comprising congressional Republicans actually runs in two directions. And so Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Leader John Thune have the near impossible task of trying to appease two mutually exclusive dynamics. And unfortunately, these conflicting forecast reports from the OMB and the CBO are only exacerbating that inherent Republican dysfunctionality. So that's the background of what's happening here. And now you have in the foreground what appears to be a major rift between President Trump and Elon Musk, with Musk calling the bill an abomination and actively calling for its defeat. And on top of that, Musk is even threatening to support primary challengers against anyone who votes for it. Now, a lot is being made of this feud between Trump and Musk. The Wall Street Journal is claiming that Trump is, quote, losing patience with Musk. The journal's actually making the argument that Musk is more upset with the White House's recent move to nix Trump's nominee to run NASA, Jared Isaacman, who Musk was a big supporter of. He's an ally of Musk. And according to the journal, the decision to axe Isaacman infuriated Musk, who complained to associates that he had donated all this hundreds of millions of dollars to help Trump get elected in last year's campaign, only to see Isaacman's nomination pulled. And so what we're seeing, this is again according to the journal, what we're seeing play out here is actually retribution for that action by the White House. So that's what's really behind Musk aggressively attacking the big, beautiful bill. Axios is following suit. They're actually giving 4 reasons for Musk opposing the bill. They argue he's upset that the bill cuts the electric vehicle tax credit that helps Tesla. Second, he wanted to stay on Doge, but it was actually the White House that told him his time was up. It was time for him to leave. Third, he wanted the Federal Aviation Administration to use the Starlink satellite system for national air traffic control, but that was turned down. And then fourthly, the pulling of Isaacman's nomination to head NASA. Now, of course, this might sound wild, but hear me out.
This is really crazy that he was trying to control this. You cannot control the president, no matter what type of ideas that they have, because this man was not elected into office. And I don't think that he didn't get the memo. It's like he really thought that he was the president.
Voters have found that a plurality of respondents in general approve of the bill, 44% versus the 38% that oppose it. But of those who identified as Trump supporters, that approval shoots up to 80%. They love the border security measures. They love the no tax on tips and overtime pay, which, by the way, enjoys 80% approval among all American voters. Trump's base generally likes this bill. Now, what's interesting here is that said, 63% of those same Trump supporters are concerned that the bill is not cutting enough government spending. But again, what's so key here is that those concerns do not affect the bill's support. And that's key. Trump supporters don't see an either or here. They both approve of the bill and are concerned about too much spending. And what resolves that is a separate follow-up process of rescission packages that begin instituting the Doge cuts. And that is precisely what Trump is promising, and he's already delivering on, sending Doge cuts to be ratified by Congress. So he's already made good on that promise. So bottom line, with this carrot and stick before Congress, bottom line, while MAGA loves Elon Musk, no question, nevertheless, nothing and no one comes close to the base's loyalty to Donald Trump. And no matter how large a check Musk writes for a primary challenger, Trump's endorsement of an incumbent voting for the bill is priceless.
Wow.
But of course, it works the other way as well. Whoever votes against this bill, as Tom Massey and Rand Paul are finding out, Trump will be merciless against them. And if you're a Republican congressman and your seat isn't as safe as Massey's or Paul's, voting against this bill will be political suicide, both in terms of Trump's wrath against you and the voters' wrath after they see their tax bill next April. So I expect the big, beautiful bill to pass. July the 4th is probably not a realistic date for it. It's probably going to be more like August. The CBO is forecasting August is when the next debt ceiling vote will have to come. So that's most likely when we'll see this bill pass. But the political realities are that it will have to pass. And I expect that whatever rift that may have opened up between Trump and Elon will have been healed, and we can all.
I don't think I think this relationship is over.
It's over.
Yeah, he did a nuclear bomb on Trump when he started talking about the Epstein files. that was it. He went for the jugular vein. Elon wasn't playing with that one. I think that the relationship is over with, and you can't have a relationship with people if I don't do what you say, then I'm going to attack you.
That's cool. We could do
What?
that.
What?
He has a number where people that watch can call in and give their opinion. And you can
Oh,
talk.
why don't we do that?
Yeah, that
You want to give them a number now?
right now?
Yeah. You know what we might do, the people that's on here, we're going to put something else on, but we probably want to give you a number that you can call and give us your opinion. Because we want to hear from you. So that might be something that we're just going to try to do it right now. And that's going to be part of the membership too. When people join our membership, we're going to bring people on, and you could be part of Speak the Truth 2.0, because we like two sides. You know, we don't want to be like biased like the media is. They just listen to one side. We want to hear from everyone, the Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. We want to hear from everyone because we're one nation under God, and we need to be able to communicate to one another. The only thing that I want people to take into consideration, and the only thing that's going to be accepted on this channel, is that you have to use the dictionary to speak in a clear, concise manner. We're not going to accept anybody, cursing and just, having tantrums or whatever. You just, voice your opinion. That's all that we ask. And we're going to see if we can give you a number that you actually can call and we can actually hear from you, and you can be a part of this live. Did you get one?
I think we should give them it so they could text the number.
Huh?
Because we don't know the people we're going to get. We should get it so they could text the number instead of calling, just starting out.
So let me put this on. Let's figure out. We're going to figure out how we want to roll this out, so that we can hear from you. So this is going to be the first time that we're attempting to do anything like this. And I think that this is such an it's amazing how fast people can actually turn on you. It's unbelievable that this happened so fast that I didn't see this coming. I don't know if any of you saw anything like this developing, but I didn't see it. I did not see this happening. These people going after each other like this, especially Elon. I think Trump, for him not to be elected official.
President Trump is calling out Republicans who are standing in the way of his big, beautiful spending bill, pushing to get it passed by July 4th. But one person who is putting his foot down on this and is doing his level best to raise awareness about how bad this is Elon Musk, the head of Doge. He just posted this yesterday. "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore," he said. "This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." And Peter Doocy, for his part, and I appreciate Peter, asking tough questions, not just of Corinne Jean-Pierre, but asking tough questions of Carolyn Levitt. Hey, President Trump's friend, Elon Musk, just posted this on social media, and Peter Doocy asked her about it. Watch.
Something that just crossed Carolina. How mad do you think President Trump is going to be when he finds out that Elon Musk said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it."
Look, the president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
All right, that's the answer.
Now, Elon Musk is telling the American people, ask your congressman, ask your senator, why are you voting for this? Did you read it all the way through? Do you understand how much debt it adds to the national deficit? He posted this a couple of hours ago, Kill Bill from the movie, because, again, he was put in front of the American people to dictate all of the things that we were spending wastefully. Sesame Street in Iraq, trans plays in South America, all kinds of things that he went and cut. But that was to the tune of millions and billions. This bill is supposed to add trillions. And, you know, he's like, why did I spin my wheels doing this if Republicans are just going to do the same things that they did before?
So you've probably heard that RFK Jr., known for his sharp mind and relentless energy on the campaign trail, is taking methylene blue to stay.
This isn't really delivering on all of the things that we were promised. Now, all that being said, is it better than doing nothing? Probably, because if you do nothing here, you're going to see some pretty significant tax increases on the American middle class over the course of the budget window, which is a decade. So over the course of 10 years, it's going to amount to about $4.5 trillion in higher taxes on middle America. Clearly something we want to avoid. So again, the bill is good in that sense, but there's a lot of work to be done, I think, for the Senate to improve this thing, and it really does need to be improved. Now, not all of the spending cuts that DOJ identified, potential spending cuts, can actually be implemented here. The rules of reconciliation differentiate between mandatory spending and discretionary spending. This is why the president has already started sending rescission packages to Congress. Those are things which, just like reconciliation, only require a simple majority vote. But so again, let me put it this way. I understand where both sides are coming from. I understand why the White House and why Speaker Johnson are talking about this as the big, beautiful bill. And I also understand where Elon is coming from, where he's looking at the financial situation in our country and seeing it implode in real time. And he's very worried about that, as am I, quite frankly. You know, the national debt, although it's $36.2 trillion right now, that's where it was at the start of the year. It stayed there because the debt ceiling has been in effect. And so Treasury has been burning through its cash account. At the same time, it takes different kinds of extraordinary measures in order to pay its bills. So those extraordinary measures would be things like not putting money into trust funds like Social Security and planning on doing that sometime in the future when it can borrow again. The issue here is that as soon as that debt ceiling is lifted, the Treasury is going to have to go on a massive borrowing spree to not only undo all of those extraordinary measures, but also replenish all of the cash that they have been burning through these last several months. That means that we're going to be at $38 trillion in debt literally by September. The problem is getting away from us, and very, very quickly.
I had my husband take a photo for me and show me my result.
Yeah, we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to set it up maybe to have someone. We're going to test it out to come on and join us.
As he said on Redacted last week, is we don't need it in one big bill. If we have these priorities, we can tackle them one at a time and get Congress to sign off on them in piecemeal so that we're not adding crap to the bill. It's kind of like when you get a value meal at a fast food place because you think you're getting a deal, and then you realize, oh no, that's the same if I bought it a la carte. So then I can buy it a la carte. It's the same. So are we being sold a bill of goods?
Well, I'm going to take my monetary hat off and put on my political scientist hat for a second here. I think the big problem that they're running into right now, the Republicans in Congress, is the fact that the Democrats will give them zero help on anything. And so the only way they can get stuff done right now is with reconciliation, is with rescissions. That means if they want to add things like military spending so that we can replenish our depleted military reserves, so that we can actually finish building the border wall, so that we can get the funding we need for more people and more drones, on the southern border, that's going to require all that stuff being thrown into reconciliation. There's just no way you're going to be able to do it outside of that, because you're never going to get through that filibuster in the Senate. And obviously the last thing the Democrats want is border security or a strong military. So that means we are forced into trying to jam pack everything we need into this bill. It's not a great solution, but I'm just not sure what the alternative is, unfortunately.
Well, you mentioned a couple of key issues that the Senate will need to really tackle here. So it seems like this thing is on its path to passing, but you've got the voices in the Senate that are trying to stop this. So I agree with you on the tax cut piece of this, but what sort of big cuts can we expect from the Senate? Where can they draw some red lines here and then send it back to the House of Representatives and have some sort of common ground? We got rid of all of these things. We got rid of all of these massive increases here that that are pushed down the line here. Are there some big cuts you would call out right now?
Oh, certainly. So there's two right off the top of my head. One has to do with all of these different entitlement programs, these welfare programs. They can put in much tighter restrictions to get rid of the abuse, the corruption, the fraud, the waste in these different programs, to reduce the number of illegitimate payments that are going out the door. And in cases like Social Security, that's wonderful for the program, because the more you reduce those illegitimate payments, the longer you prolong you prolong the solvency of that trust fund, which means legitimate beneficiaries are going to get their payments for a longer period of time. Tightening up the restrictions on Medicaid will ensure that not just illegal aliens, but able-bodied men aren't getting these checks. That should be reserved for pregnant women. That should be reserved for the infirm, etc., the disabled. So there's that whole bucket. The other big thing they can do, and this is on the revenue side, although it technically is I guess, a spending item, is we've got to get down the cap on salt. The amount that the House increased the salt deduction, the state and local tax deduction, was completely unacceptable. Look, this is a handout to essentially the Democrat donor class. This is a handout to high-income individuals in high-tax municipalities like New York City, like Chicago, like Los Angeles. And it is not a pro-growth tax cut. When you do things like reduce marginal tax rates, or when you get rid of the tax on tip or the tax on overtime, that greatly increases essentially how much pro-growth stimulus you have in the economy, because what it's doing is it's decreasing the penalty on work. And so if you contrast that with the salt deduction, it's exactly the opposite. So increasing the salt deduction is not only costly, it does nothing for economic growth.
I made $371,000 last year buying.
Yeah, we're right back at it.
Today I was driving, I saw a dude on the side of the highway with a sign, cardboard sign that said, "Save Medicaid." The bill does not actually intend to get rid of Medicaid. It just introduces stricter requirements to receive it. So what would you say to my freeway dwelling friend with a cardboard sign whose main opposition to this? This is the Democratic talking point, right? It's not very productive because there are other things that are worth our attention, but why are they hyper-focused on that? And what would you say to this dude?
Well, I would probably say nothing to him, because clearly if you're that far out of your right mind to stand outside with a cardboard sign that is so disconnected from reality, far be it from me to try to convince you otherwise. But let me try to convince the viewers, at least, on your great show. Look, the fact of the matter is this bill would increase, not decrease, increase Medicaid spending. Medicare is also going to go up, but Medicaid specifically is going up. It's just that it's going to go up at a slightly slower rate than it would before, and that has to do with the fact that, again, you're kicking illegal aliens off of the program, people who shouldn't be getting this money anyway. I mean, it's amazing how Democrats are throwing a fit right now that we're going to remove illegal aliens from a welfare program, after Democrats have been telling us for years that illegal aliens aren't eligible for welfare programs anyway. anyway, and that's just a right-wing conspiracy or a conservative talking point or whatever other nomenclature they want to give to it. The fact of the matter is California has been flagrantly giving these illegal aliens all kinds of handouts. It's not just California, but they've been the biggest offender. And despite the federal government saying, no, you're not allowed to do this. Under the Biden administration, they turned a blind eye. The Trump administration is trying to crack down on it. But the fact remains that currently you have millions of illegal aliens receiving all kinds of federal aid. They should be receiving zero because they shouldn't even be here in the first place.
EJ and Tony, great answer. Always great to see you. Thank you so much for your perspective on it.
This is like crazy, like everything, like when you hear everything that's going on and what these elected officials have done to our country, it's just disheartening that we can't trust any of these officials to look out for the welfare of the American people. I don't know why is that so hard to do. Why is it so hard for the freaking elected officials to do right by American citizens, the people that actually voted them into office? It's like pulling teeth to find anyone that's really going to support American people. It's like all our president's attention is so divided that he has to worry about Ukraine, Gaza, Elon Musk, the Republicans, the rhinos, the Democrats. You know, he has all these different entities that's coming up against him that it's like, I don't even see how it's been possible for him to get anything done. But in spite of all of this, he still put one foot in front of the other. And one thing he's going to do, he's going to continue to move forward. That we can trust in. He is going to move forward no matter what's going on, no matter how upset Elon Musk is, or Lindsey Graham, or Blumenthal, or any of these people. You got little snaky Zelensky running around like he's a world power, and the world power that he thinks he's defeating is the second world power of the world, which is Russia. When they get through stomping on Ukraine, because Putin already said he's coming for them. You're not going to do all that. You're going to poke the bear, and you don't think, and then you're going to blame the bear when the bear hits back. The bear's going to hit back. You're going to poke the bear. They kept poking Putin, poking him. NATO moved in on different territories, different stuff that they were breaking with Russia or whatever. They poking the bear, but he's going to hit back. And that's what happens. And then they said, then Zelensky now yesterday, oh, I want to sit down and have peace talks. You can't have peace talks and you high-five and your people say, look what we did. Oh yeah, look what we did to Russia. Oh, you didn't do anything to the second most powerful country in the world, which is Russia. It's United States, Russia, then China. So he didn't do anything. Only thing he did is going to get hit like never before, because Putin was holding back. He wasn't wiping them out. But hey, you asked for it. This is what happens. And Trump he's supposed to be responsible for other countries and all of the politics that's going on in these countries. We have our own politics that's going on here. We can't trust the elected officials here. You know, out of everyone, I am not kidding. I trust Trump more than all these people, because he's been through so much trying to protect this country, and he's been having to fight everybody. Even the people you think that's on his side, who saw this coming with Elon Musk? I mean, he was a wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, this is not how grown people are supposed to handle everything or anything. He doesn't have his way. He has a tantrum. He's having a pissy fit. You know, you're not doing what I said. Having a complete tantrum online. Instead of picking up the phone. People need to pick up the phone, call people, communicate. When you having a disagreement with a loved one, or with a friend, or with a relative, or with your husband, wife, don't go on social media. This is just, you know, breaking news, people. Don't go on social media.
And the thing about it is, I was having a conversation with Tammy about, she was talking about.
I can't hear you.
I was having a conversation with Tammy. She was trying to argue with me saying that Trump is causing more debt with tariffs. Then I told her how much illegal immigrants costed us because of Joe Biden.
Right.
And then she went just right back to Trump. But his tariffs have costed us this, and he's putting us in this debt. They always redirect and reflect and go at Trump.
Redirect
everything at Trump instead of talking about
what these people that caused
Yeah.
the dilemma in the first place. But they don't mind 170 countries overcharging us tariffs. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that this is what we had signed up for. The rest of the world has been taking advantage of the United States of America. And now Trump comes in as a businessman. He's like, put the brakes on. Hold up. Why are we paying 10 times more than this country for the same pharmaceutical product? How come they pay $200, but Americans are paying $1,000 for the same medication? You know, Trump came into play, and he said he wants it to be fair, because it's not fair. And guess what? If you've really been keeping up, you know the tariffs are working. The prices, the inflation is coming down, the economy is getting better. So what Trump's been doing, if you've been keeping up, it's been working. It's been working. But he's not getting credit for the border being closed. He's not getting credit for the prices of eggs coming down. He's not getting credit for the monies and the businesses that he has coming into the United States of America that no other president have I ever even heard of that have accomplished, and especially in 4 months. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And now he got this wolf in sheep's clothing. Instead of being a man, what happened to men? Instead of being a man and have a seat at the table and say, look, Trump, this is how I see this. This is how I project it. This is what's going to happen. If we don't do this, this is how it would be better for the country if we moved in this direction. It's fine to give your opinion, but that does not mean that he has to do what you say, Elon.
Like, what happens to Elon Musk's son?
Oh. But he feels as though that that he's supposed to do what he says. Trump didn't sign up to do what you say. That's not in it. Trump respects Elon. He thinks he's brilliant. One thing about Trump, he respects people who have great minds and are brilliant. But Elon's trying to run this country as though he was elected, like his personal business. But you can't run. It's three sections of government. You can't. Trump just can't do everything he wants to do. You know, so there's 3 departments of government. So, but I guess he didn't get the memo. So that's what's troubling him, that Trump is not exactly doing what he wants him to do. And now he wants to threaten Trump's. You even have the former press secretary. What's her name? Karine Jean-Pierre?
Yeah.
She's no longer a Democrat.
Jean Pierre.
She's no longer a Democrat. Now, here she is talking about she's independent. The Democrats have 29% approval rating. They offer nothing to the American people.
Debbie, let me ask you this question. Why was the economy and inflation bad in the first place?
In the first place. In the first place.
She said, "Oh, what about grocery store prices? They're getting worse." Like,
they're not getting worse. The thing about it, when it was bad, or when they were doing all this to this country, where were you then?
Yeah, exactly.
All the Democrats. Now you're talking to someone that helped get those folks elected. Where were you then? At least I can admit it that they suck. It's amazing how you have diehards that all that they have done to everything we're going through is because of the Democrats. They were the ones in power for the last 12 of the last 16 years. And when Trump was in office, we had none of this going on. That's a fact. You know, where were you then? Where's the outrage about what they've done to this country? People have had those protests hands off, and the different protests if though Trump was the president for the last 4 years.
Now Tammy's saying the economy was bad because of COVID.
Trump had inflation down, it was like 1.9 or whatever. Biden wasn't even president. Can you tell me who was actually the president of the United States of America? Who was the president? You don't have a problem with that the president that was supposed to have been elected really wasn't running the country. You don't question that. That's the question. That's the $1 billion question. Who was the freaking president that caused all this mess?
Oh, now that Debbie's running away. She said, goodbye, you are incorrect. Don't blame this on Biden.
Yeah. We'll blame it on you. We'll blame you for it. I guess that's how we'll blame you. You know, don't blame it on Biden. But you're readily blaming it on Trump as though he was the president that caused all this mess. Newsflash, he wasn't the president. He's been president for 4 months. They started blaming Trump the first freaking day he became president.
The whole campaign was blaming Trump.
Yeah, they ran like Trump was the president for the last 4 years. And don't you think it was peculiar that they couldn't run on their record? Start with that. I looked at it. I'm like, what kind of mess is this? Beat this man fair and squarely. When they start trying to do all the things they did to Trump, I start looking at them side-eye.
To the people who are blaming the economy now on Trump's terrorists, do you realize how illogical it is to blame him in any means about the economy and not blame Biden, who caused it in the first place?
They still won't. Well, we got the 29% who still diehards because the rest of the party jumped ship. The rest of the Democrats, they like, no. They like the Democratic Party is sucks. It sucks. And I can admit that. And it's amazing how there's no truth in people. People cannot even admit this nonsense that had been going on.
And how Leo said America was great when the Honorable Barack Obama was in office.
When who?
Barack Obama was in
Yeah, thank God for the president of the LGBTQ. All us Christians appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate that his agenda was establishing same-sex marriages and men and women's sports and men and women's locker rooms and all of that. We appreciate that, Obama. You most definitely took God out of America. He wasn't for black people, that's for sure. He was the president of LGBTQ. That's when the Democratic Party took a shift. It started changing then. And then we had good old, when Biden came in, he became the president of transgenders and illegal immigrants. They destroyed this country. All the morals, all the principles, everything went out the door.
Partisan Congressional Budget Office on Wednesday lowered its estimate of how much President Donald Trump's tax cut and spending bill will add to the more than $36 trillion national debt. It now says it would add about $2.4 trillion over the next decade, down from a previous forecast of $3.8 trillion. Its assessment comes a day after key Trump ally Elon Musk blasted the bill as a disgusting abomination, giving fresh support to Republican deficit hawks who have been pushing back against it. Musk further criticized the spending bill on Wednesday, saying on X that, quote, no one who actually reads the bill should be able to stomach it, and that a new bill should be drafted. House Speaker Mike Johnson said Musk's comments came after he and the billionaire had what Johnson thought was a productive conversation about the spending bill.
Elon and I left on a great note. We were texting one another, happy texts, Monday.
That was a lie.
And then yesterday, 24 hours later, he does a 180 and he comes out and opposed the bill. And it surprised me, frankly. And I don't take it personal. We don't take it personal. Policy differences are not personal. I think he's flat wrong. I think he's way off on this, and I've told him as much, and I've said it publicly and privately. I'm very consistent in that.
Reuters correspondent Andy Sullivan has been tracking the legislation, which has passed the House and is awaiting a vote from the Senate.
The biggest thing it would do would extend the current tax breaks that are in effect that Trump passed in 2017. Those are due to expire at the end of the year. If Congress doesn't do anything, we'll snap back up to the levels we were before then. It also includes a number of new tax breaks, including things that Trump campaigned on last year. The big ones that they're talking about a lot are eliminating taxes on tipped income and taxes on overtime.
The bill also reflects the priorities of the new administration, like promoting oil and gas production and eliminating benefits for choosing cleaner energy sources.
So this bill also goes after a lot of those green tax breaks that were passed under President Joe Biden. The break for buying an electric car, for putting solar panels on your house, that sort of stuff. It will revoke a lot of those things. And from a budgetary perspective, that saves money because you're eliminating these tax breaks. That means the government's losing less money to people who buy electric cars, etc.
Republicans hold a narrow majority in the Senate, though warring camps within the party are vying for changes to the House-passed bill. The Congressional Budget Office said the number of people without health insurance would increase by nearly 11 million by 2034 if the House bill's policy changes remain. Of that number, an estimated 1.4 million people would be undocumented immigrants who no longer would be covered.
Wow.
Get ready for Twisted Tea.
Like crazy.
Yeah, she definitely did vote for Kamala and Joe Biden and Obama.
It's like, it's just terrible. Like, you don't want to see. I just think that at the end of the day that this hurt the American people more than anything. When you see such a divide, especially from someone that wasn't even elected into office, he never should have had access to the president of the United States like that. No one voted for Elon, and Elon is so puffed up that he really believed that his money got Trump elected, not the people. You know, we were not voting for Kamala and Tampon Tim. I mean, he won. He had the freaking popular vote on top of it.
And now he's saying he's gonna make a new party.
He could make a new party. He could make all the parties he wants to. He could lose more money because nobody's voting for him. That's for sure. Money can't buy you the favoritism of the people. If the people don't see that you're going to do something to benefit us, then you're not going to get elected.
Tammy is like the #1 Democrat voter and supporter.
Well,
she is just fighting hard for the Democrats.
Well, she's fighting by herself. She's fighting by herself because most of the Democrats are jumping ship, like myself. So good luck with that. She could keep on fighting all she wants to, but what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And this is the result of the people that was in office, and we haven't even seen the worst yet. Wait till these people that's in this country that's not supposed to be here start acting up more than what they are right now.
Someone said you got it, that they would like if you read more comments.
Oh, well, read them. I don't want to be up on it. Read the comments. And that's what we're going to do. Like, when people join our membership, we're going to give them priority or whatever to read the comments. And we want to bring people on these lives. That's what we're going to... I want us to do this, start doing this week. Bring people on the live. And the people that joined or people that donate, bring them on live. And they can be part of the conversation.
The Mr. Booski just joined.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah. Because we want, like, the loyal people, whoever come on, we're going to be bringing them on.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have priority. Because it's unfair to people that's been supporting us and being a part of joining the membership or, or donating and supporting us.
Carlton, look up.
We're going to have them because like, at the end of the day, when you look at the views, we're going to have like over like 50,000, 60,000, whatever people that's actually watching us each month. We have at least 1 million views on our channel.
Carlton,
so the views are here.
Carlton, look up Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill.
Yeah, I hope they didn't say about black people again. Because nobody said nothing about black people when Joe Biden locked everybody up with that 1994 crime bill with mass incarceration of black men and probably women were included. And black community is still feeling the effects of it even now.
Is your name really Carlton?
Just read a comment so we can hear what they have to say.
He said, "Oh, you want us to pay to support your Uncle Tom perspective?" And someone said Tammy lives in an ultra universe of depression.
We're not saying, we're saying like there's a lot of channels and they have support from their memberships and their viewers. We want the people that do support us to have priority. They should have priority. Because a lot of times we talk to everyone, we call out different people's names, but a lot of channels, they don't even acknowledge the people that's on their streams. So if people are going to join the membership or if they're going to donate, they are going to have priority. That's all. That's not saying that we're not going to talk to others, but they will have priority. And that's being fair to them. That's being fair because a lot of times people, they put something up and we'll read it. You know, those super chats or whatever, we'll read it. So that's how it's done. And I think that that's how it should be done. I think that they should have preferential treatment. Don't you? You know, I'm not going to put them on the back burner. They're going to have, you know, preferential treatment. Like they should. What happened to the, I'm looking for, it's not, yeah, so anyway, I just think Elon picked a bad time to go rogue on the President of the United States of America because there's so much that's going on right now. And I really believe that it weakens our country because the world is watching. Y'all have to understand, even on this chat right now, on this stream, people are from around the world. If I ask where people are from, you have people from around the world that be on these streams. And they're all listening and they're looking at the mindset and they're seeing what's going on in this country because what happens in the United States, it affects the world. So when they see all this bickering, all this back and forth, like here, President Trump went over to Saudi Arabia, he got treated like a king. He had more respect than I've seen any American show him. You know, they rolled out, they had the jets in the sky to meet him in the air. I mean, they had horses in front of him coming in with the Rolls Royces and all of that. I mean, it was spectacular how he got, you know, they gave him all kinds of awards. They played his music and he made over $1 trillion deal, $1 trillion+ deal with them over in Saudi Arabia. And they gave him a $400 million plane. I think that where was that in one of the countries. I can't think of it right now. So the respect that they had shown him was showing America respect because he represents us.
No, James, like what my mom is saying that I'll add to. Trump being president makes other countries respect us.
Yeah.
Which we did not get with Joe Biden. Joe Biden, when they took the picture, stood in the corner.
Joe Biden, they didn't even the prince went out to meet Trump at the airport. And they, like, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you ever had jets meet you in the sky as you're entering into their country, that he had a jet escort? Not just in Saudi Arabia, I think in, what's the other name of the country?
Qatar?
Qatar, yeah, Qatar. Qatar did the same thing.
Qatar.
So it's amazing.
Remember when Trump moved the guy out the way?
Yeah, well, like even when Trump was president prior, Trump, like one of the leaders of, I guess, of the world, he was standing in front of Trump, kindly moved him out the way to his jacket, like, I'm the big dog here. Trump is the big dog. And I salute that. Because everybody, especially women, we like a real leader, a strong man, a powerful man, a man that can stand on business. That's who Trump is. And I respect that. And believe it or not, that's what Putin respects. He respects a man's man.
James.
Not no weak little man. They don't respect weak little men.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of comments not agreeing with us.
Well, yeah, because that's the 29. Yeah, that's the 29% that's still supporting.
They ain't they feelings.
Yeah, they still supporting
Okay,
a party that's not doing anything.
I'll read
for
them.
us.
Okay, James first said he chose Elon, he chose Pence. Where are they all now? Is he bad at choosing people? Basically, the single most important aspect of manager's job.
Well, he's not God. He's not all knowing. Who knew that they would turn out being the people that, you know, that he didn't know that they were. I mean, he thought they were actually friends. He thought there was a good choice. I don't know about Pence. Pence is kind of dry, so it's kind of hard to tell with him. But he's a rhino. He's from old school, and Elon Musk, I really think that he looked at Elon Musk as being really a friend. But people are wolves in sheep clothing. How many people have you met that you think that's your friend, or think they like you or for you? And if you heard the conversations they had about you, you would be surprised. And you thought that that was your friend, or even best friend.
And Lenora said, "Are you out of your goddamn mind? Trump is the worst goddamn thing that's ever happened to this country. You should be ashamed of yourself being a black woman saying this crap."
Are you from Mars? You didn't see Biden? And you're a black woman? Do you know about the 1994 crime bill? Do your goddamn research. Do your research. That man, black people should have never have voted for that damn Biden. That man, when you take black men out of the household, he said that they were super predators. They were beyond rehabilitation. He told the judges to lock them up and throw away the damn key. And that's what they did. They could do a minor crime. Why do you think black people are arrested 4 times more than any other race? It's like you could shoot black people, you could arrest black people. What happened to the Democrats been in office for 12 years? What happened to the anti-hate crime bill that Biden promised? So don't come for me. I know what's going on. But I didn't know when I was supporting those people. I had no idea that black people should have never voted for Biden or Kamala. What they have done to black Americans. You take the head out of the household, then the kids wind up in the street, and then they get locked up. Then judges look at them. They like 20 years old, or I could give them 30 years for a misdemeanor, and they don't have a lawyer to get them representation. The public defender is telling them, well, you need to take the 10 years like it's nothing, like nothing. Or you should do the 20 years, or they're gonna give you life. That's what's happening to black Americans. And we sit around and we don't vote for policy. Trump did more for black people, look it up, that benefited us than any Democrat that had been in office. All they do is keep us suppressed, keep us down, keep making promises unfulfilled.
And like
no.
Mr. Busky brought up.
No.
He brought up that Joe Biden, he gave a eulogy at a person who was a member of the KKK. Hear me?
Yeah, he gave you. Yeah, they talking about he probably gave a eulogy for. I think he was the wizard of KKK, Ku Klux Klan, Biden. So don't do that.
I was surprised.
And you know what? Like in the word says, people perish for lack of knowledge. When you don't know what's going on, it can hurt us. And black people, we will never wake up. They don't have to promise us anything. You know how many black people voted for the Democratic Party this last election? 93%. And you know what they promised us? Nothing. Oh, abortions. I forgot abortions. And Kamala said, oh, black men, I'll let y'all smoke marijuana. How offensive was that?
Okay, that wasn't a bad comment. Simi said, I'm going to get going, but I want you to know that in spite of our differences, I respect you and respect our shared fight for a better world, even if we can't agree on what the world should be. See, that's agreeing to
God bless you. That's what this is about, Speak the Truth 2.0. We want everyone to participate and have an opinion. But I think as far as black people, we need to do our research. We need to take the time. We have social media. We can go online and look at policy. That identity politics that they try to run on, trying to say that woman was black and she was all an Indian when she was in the Senate. You know, we have to stop that and look at who's doing us, who's helping us, and who's actually harming us.
Now Lenora went ghost after you said that about his crime bill.
Because we don't know. We perish for lack of knowledge. Jesus will be back before we get it together. Black Americans, we contribute over $1 trillion into the economy every year. We keep this country going. And we don't even know our political power. A vote is a precious thing to have as an American. And the one thing I like about Trump is that he brought together black people, white people, Jewish people, Indians, Italians, Native Americans, every Chinese people, we all came together to put him in office. Latinos, I'm sorry. Our Latinos, you know, Hispanics, he brought all of us together. We voted as one nation under God. We all put him in there, in office. Because we saw the writing on the wall. Kamala was unfit and so was Tampon Tim. If they got in office, it would be no more America. We would be in World War III with no leadership. We didn't have leadership for the last 4 years when Biden was in office. That's why they was able to destroy this country. We thought we had a president and we didn't. We thought we had a competent vice president and we didn't.
Carlton, why do you continue to ignore Joe Biden's racist actions? And you could say Kamala too.
We wouldn't have survived them. They certainly would be over in Saudi Arabia getting a jet escort into the country.
Blue Ocean said, can you imagine Kamala, the horror?
The horror. Look, I was a Democrat. Look, they made me like, see y'all, bye. Hasta luego, hasta la vista. Sayonara, adios, amigos. I'm out. Hey, Trump. Hey, Trump, yeah. Yeah. You know, and we're not saying we support everything anybody does. We don't support everything. But you don't blame him for everything. You know, if he does things, we call it out. But no one calls out the left. No one calls out the Democrats. They still don't have a plan. They still don't have a leader. They're still not supporting America first.
Did you guys know that CNN gets 1 billion views every single month? Do you know that's the most of any news station?
Look at all the Democrats that affect.
All the people that it's influencing, 1 billion views per every single month.
And that's why they were able to influence the masses.
Yeah.
Because the reach is there. They do 93% negative news for Trump. I used to believe all that. I was an avid listener to MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Morning Joe, Meet the Press, CNN, all of them. Every show you could think of, I was watching. I thought they were preaching the gospel. I didn't never listen to Fox. Oh, they racist. I'm not listening to them. Those are the racist white Republicans. They don't mean black people any good. Yeah, not saying that some of them aren't racist, but you got racist Democrats too. So, but yeah, you have to open your horizon. I'm glad that we have social media, that we have other news sources with people. Even content creators are doing amazing jobs as bringing you the truth and the news. And one thing that we are, no matter how much we continue to grow, is we're going to remain authentic and be ourselves. We're not going to tickle your ears and say everything you want us to, to hear. If you want that, you can go listen to these different news channels that have one agenda, their agenda. That's it.
They're all talking, going at Carlton. He said we're not replying to him, and the Mr. Boosie said that's because nothing you said is factual.
That's so sad. You can read another couple comments, so we'll respond to them.
They said, watch out, Uncle Carlton's gonna cry. They all going at Carlton. Oh, he reset why he's telling us to go to the New York Times.
To enlighten us. The New York Times. New York Times, Ford News, Washington Post, been there, did that, all of it. And they're biased.
I think he's talking about Trump's court cases.
Oh, when they railroaded him.
Yeah. And
they weaponized the justice system. Yeah, they did that to him. I believe that entirely.
Someone say
what? What?
Someone said don't argue with a drunk. They're calling me a drunk.
and tell you that I consider Elon a friend. He's obviously brilliant. I just told you we credit him with all the big changes at Doge and everything else. It's curious to me what happened this week. And full disclosure, Elon and I had a great conversation, about a half-hour long talk on Monday this week, Monday morning, and we talked about the big beautiful bill because I think he was trying to make a joke a couple of days earlier. It can't be big and beautiful, and I started the conversation. Oh yes, it can, my friend. It's very beautiful. So we talked about all the record level of savings. My friends, no government in the history of mankind has ever got $1.6 trillion in a piece of legislation. We're doing that here. The extraordinary level of savings and the historic level of tax cuts. I talked to Elon through all that and explained to him what we're doing, and that this is just the beginning of a long process of making government more efficient and effective, of cutting wasteful spending for all abuse. And you can't do it all in one bill. It took Congress decades to get to this situation.
That's what Elon doesn't understand.
It's going to take us a little while to get out of it, but we have a very specific plan to do that. And Elon was encouraged by that conversation. We had it was a very friendly, very fruitful conversation.
Not today.
And he and I talked about the midterm elections. And he said, well, I'm going to help. We got to make sure that the Republicans keep the House majority. We can't have the president impeached, which is what the Democrats would do on day one, as we all well know. And we've got to continue this. The Trump administration needs 4 years to do all this reform, not 2 years. Elon and I left on a great note. We were texting one another, happy texts, Monday. And then yesterday, 24 hours later, he does a 180 and he comes out and opposes the bill. And it surprised me, frankly. And I don't take it personal. We don't take it personal. Policy differences are not personal. I think he's flat wrong. I think he's way off on this. And I've told him as much and I've said it publicly and privately. I'm very consistent in that. But am I concerned about the effect of this on the midterms? I'm not. Let me tell you why. Because when the big beautiful bill is done and signed into law, every single American is going to do better. This bill is geared for middle and working class Americans, and they are going to feel the effects of it, and they're going to feel it before the midterm elections. So I have no concern whatsoever. I'm absolutely convinced that we're going to win the midterms and grow the House majority because we're delivering for the American people and fulfilling our campaign promises, and we'll see how that happens. Well, I'll tell you, I called Elon last night. He didn't answer, but I hope to talk to him today. It's not, it's very friendly, and we've laughed about our differences on policy before. I'm not upset about this, and I think he understands, and he's acknowledged to me before, that this is so serious that we can't fool around with it. The debt cliff is approaching very quickly, right? All the things that are in this bill are so important for the U.S. economy. It's going to be jet fuel for the U.S. economy. All boats are going to rise, and the sooner we do that, the better, and the risk of not getting it done is enormous, not just for the Republican Party, but for the country. We got to do this, and I think Elon understands the weight of that, and I hope he comes around. I'd love to talk to him this week, and I hope he calls him back today. I talk to President Trump, all the time, multiple times a day. Obviously, we've talked about this. As you know, he's not delighted that Elon did a 180 on that, but look, I don't know what happened in 24 hours. Everybody can draw their own conclusions about that, okay? But I look forward to talking to my friend about it again, and I'm not upset about it.
Wow. 24 hours. I don't know what happened, but Elon went rogue. He's like so upset. Wow. Let's see what's going on right now. Russia responds to drones attack with fierce assault. Wow. Yeah, so I guess that's the other problem that's going on with Zelensky. You can look at our video that we did yesterday about Putin, Zelensky, Lindsey Graham, and Trump. So Putin is going to retaliate just like Trump said.
In a bunker right now, air raid alerts going off as we came on tonight. All of this after Ukraine's drone attack deep inside Russia. And then the moment inside the Oval Office today, President Trump, who campaigned promising he would end the war in Ukraine on day one, today saying, quote, sometimes you're better off letting them fight for a while. Martha Raddatz reporting in from Kyiv amid these air raid alerts going off moments ago.
That's right.
David, we just heard an air raid alert, an urgent alert telling us to come down to the shelter. That's where we are now with many others from our hotel. The air raid defenses are said to be working in Kyiv, but explosions have been heard, but we are safe down here.
Tonight, a ferocious Russian assault following Ukraine's coordinated drone strikes deep inside Russia. Russia now blasting residential high-rises in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv and destroying this government building in Kherson. the barrage, leaving more than 40 people dead or wounded across Ukraine. And Ukraine is now bracing for even more, what could be a much larger Russian attack at any moment. A response to that stunning Ukrainian drone operation, drones lifting out of containers atop trucks and flying to their targets, destroying at least 10 Russian warplanes, including nuclear-capable bombers worth billions. And in a remarkable scene in the Oval Office today, President Trump, after campaigning he could end the war in Ukraine on day one, suggesting it might be better to let both sides fight for a while, even though it was Russia which invaded Ukraine.
Sometimes you see two young children fighting like crazy. They hate each other and they're fighting in a park. And you try and pull them apart. They don't want to be pulled. Sometimes you're better off letting them fight for a while and then pulling them apart.
But German Chancellor Merz making it clear Germany is on the side of Ukraine. The Chancellor saying there is a difference between what Ukraine is doing and what Russia is doing.
We get satellite pictures of the warfield, and you don't even like to look at them, right?
It's terrible.
So,
it's really
bodies, arms, heads, legs all over the place, and you've never seen anything like it. It's so ridiculous.
And this is only by Russian weapons against Ukraine. This had never happened with Ukraine weapons against Russia. Never. Ukraine is only targeting military targets, not civilians, not private, not energy.
But they're dying
infrastructure.
too.
So this is the difference, and that's the reason why we are trying to do more on Russia, how to stop this war.
And David, given what Donald Trump said today, given the missiles flying around Ukraine tonight, peace seems a long way away. David?
All right, Martha, we're glad you and the crew are down at that bunker tonight. Martha Raddatz, thank you.
Wow. This is like, everything's getting out of hand. We got Elon Musk on road. We got, I mean, he's just, dropping bombs on Trump. He's talking about the reason why Trump does not want to release the Epstein files is because of Trump is in it. So, and then, I mean, just the back and forth, like two children. Elon is having the biggest tantrum that any adult can have. It's like, if he's not having his way, then he's like, okay, I'm gonna come for your neck. And that's what he's been doing. Because this stuff is crazy that's been going on. Like, all in today, it's been like a lot. And, for someone to have that's why Trump gave Elon too much access to him. I don't care how much he supported him in the election, but he did not win the election for him. The people did. The people of the United States of America voted for Donald J. Trump. And Elon is trying to say that he wouldn't have won if it wasn't for him. That's a lie from hell. Trump won the popular vote. People weren't voting. We're not robots. We're not AI. We're humans. And we voted for Trump because he actually was the best person to be the president of the United States of America. And that came from all Americans, of all different ethnicities, all came together to put him into office. So, and now someone supported Zelensky. We did a video yesterday. It was about all, like, Zelensky to had been able to achieve what he did. He was high-fiving his people, but you can't poke the bear and don't think the bear's not going to hit back. You're talking about a world power. Russia is the second largest world power. They're right behind the United States of America. So Russia can hit a lot harder than Ukraine. And they don't need anyone's help. They don't need China help to hit back. They're a power in themselves. So I don't understand what even Zelensky thought he was going to accomplish, especially since Trump was trying to get him at the table to sit down and have, some peace talks. But that didn't happen. So now today we have Elon acting up. We have Lindsey Graham over there like he's speaking for America to Ukraine. They're going behind the president's back. Trump said he didn't even know these negotiations or where it was going on with Blumenthal and Lindsey Graham over there talking about what Congress is going to do for Ukraine and all of this. Like, he's a spokesperson, but What about your people in South Carolina, Lindsey Graham? What are you doing for Americans? So it's just crazy how these people are everywhere, but they're flying over to El Salvador. They're flying over to Ukraine using taxpayer dollars because Lindsey Graham spent over $500,000 flying, $500,000 flying back and forth to Ukraine. I mean, that's incredible. But what is he doing for his constituents here in America? What is he doing for them? You know, what is he doing for them? So all this stuff is going on, and Elon, he should have handled this like a man. What he should have done is just went and had a conversation with Trump. You know, why are you putting this on X? Why are you telling me you're going to start your own party? Why didn't y'all just sit down? Because y'all have each other's phone number. You have access to the White House. You could have sat down with President Trump, but you can't make him do what you want him to do. He's the president of the United States, and he was elected into office. So all of this is not good for America at the end of the day. It's not good for America. Elijah, look. CBS actually used our thumbnail. This is so funny. Look at this. Look at CBS. They used our thumbnail. They just posted 2 hours ago. Wow. That's ours. That is so incredible. Well, anyway, so a lot is going on. Read it if anybody have a comment. And now they they should have known you can't poke the bear. Your Putin attacks will be massive. They should have known that. Are you reading them?
Everyone seems to be arguing with each other.
Okay. What?
By Elon. Now it looks like he's just trying to get attention.
But the worst way.
Yeah.
Follow another breaking news story. The war of words still ramping up between President Trump and Elon Musk. The two of them going back and forth. President Trump making some statements earlier today from the Oval Office stating that Elon Musk is upset and he isn't sure exactly where the relationship stands, stating that Elon Musk was, quote, wearing thin in his social media post. Well, now, not surprisingly, Elon Musk now taking to X to share even more thoughts. And I wanted to share the very latest as this continues to be a back and forth right here. The very latest comment from Elon Musk is time to drop the really big bomb. President Trump at real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And earlier on in the Oval Office, President Trump foreshadowing perhaps these comments getting personal, because before President Trump did state that up until that point, when he made those previous comments, that Elon Musk did not speak about him negatively personally, but expecting that. And I wanted to share that with you right here as I pull up the exact tweet right here. But I did want to share that with you as we continue to follow this breaking news as President Trump and Elon Musk continuing to square off and really just getting ugly with some of these comments that we are seeing from them right here. But before that, we did share this with you. This is something that President Trump has stated prior to this particular comment from Elon Musk, saying Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. So the latest comment, once again, from Elon Musk is he is taking off the gloves right there, saying, quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." So no doubt we are going to be hearing from President Trump as he doesn't take personal attacks lightly and not known to back off. In fact, President Trump usually takes to social media to very clearly make his thoughts known right here. So we are anticipating perhaps a response from President Trump in the latest round of verbal attacks from Elon Musk right there. It's continuing to evolve minute by minute, sometimes second by second, as both individuals, President Trump and Elon Musk, taking to social media 24/7, around the clock, really, to make their thoughts known, and no doubt continuing to make their thoughts known about one another right there. Well, we are going to continue to follow more news as a prior.
It's so crazy.
I
mean, when you see these grown people that's supposed to be in leadership, and no one elected Elon Musk, it was just kind of peculiar that the president couldn't get on his Air Force One or on his helicopter or be in the Oval Office without Elon and X. Like, X is running around more in the Oval Office than Trump's grandchildren. And now, just to come out like this, I think it was so petty, Elon. And it's showing who he is, and to be a leader, this is a certain way you got to conduct yourself, and this isn't it. Like, he's not the president of the United States. We didn't elect him into office, and there's a way he should have handled this. And it's bad. This is when you shouldn't share everything with everyone. You shouldn't, Trump made a mistake. He let him in to get too close, and now it's coming back to bite him.
And the thing about it
is,
Elon should be grateful he got to be around a president of the United States so much and not in office. That's a big deal to be around the president of the United States. No matter what president it is, that's a huge honor. It's an honor to be around the president.
And he has so much access and influence. Trump couldn't go to a dinner to Saudi Arabia. He was introducing them to the the Crown Prince. I mean, it was just amazing. What he allowed him, how he allowed him to have the access that he did. And this is how you repay a person. And this is exactly why you don't tell everyone your business. You can't let everyone in, because see, when they get angry or they get mad and you think that you can trust them and you're having conversations, look, the first thing that he did. Like, he's trying, he's not releasing the Epstein files because he's a part of it. He wants to change the narrative or whatever, but guess what? Trump can shut him down. He might be the richest man in the world, but Trump is the most powerful man in the world. And he was elected by the people. Elon does not hold any government office. He's not elected. So he's saying he wants to start his own party. Start your own party. Because unless you have androids or robots voting for you, because you don't know how to deal with people, because you don't know what it is to suffer. He doesn't know what it is to not have food on the table, like some Americans. He doesn't know what it is not to have health care. He doesn't know what it is not to have a job, not to have the wealth. So he can't relate. So when he wiped out jobs and people living wages, it doesn't affect him because he doesn't understand hunger.
Outlaw said, "Oh, I know that Trump and Elon are going to smooth this thing over." No, I don't think.
I don't think that he's coming back from this. Yeah. He torched Trump. He intentionally tried to go after his jugular vein. He intentionally tried to destroy Trump. That's what he did. He put his feet to the fire. And when you want to save a relationship, you don't attack people like that, like he did. So this is a long road back, because sometimes you say things that you can't take back. And I think that what Elon has said to Trump, like, Trump is still trying to be cordial, and because he's acting like he should. He's the president of the United States. But some things that are said can't be taken back. jumping up and down is not going to change Congress. He acts like he can, be mad at Trump, but Trump is not going to be the final vote in Congress. The Congress has to pass it. Mike Johnson and them have to get the big, beautiful bill passed in Congress, and Mike Johnson was trying to explain that it's a process. Everything's not in this bill. Everything can't be, but this is how we do things in Congress. It's step by step. And he said he was trying to explain it to Elon. Elon is used to being the boss, and he says whatever he says goes, and that's it. So, but it doesn't work like that in the real world.
Supposed to be my dog.
Oh, gotta put this on. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. No, in the real world. But it looks like it's gonna be funny.
What's your deal, Elon? You're supposed to be my dog.
My deal is this big, beautiful bill. The only thing more bloated than this is your fat, rumping golf pants.
That's it, Elon. We're through. Get out of my White House and give me back my key.
You can have it back. It doesn't even unlock anything.
That's because it was the key to my heart. Now go on, get. Don't you have autistic things to do like count gumballs and watch wrestling?
SmackDown isn't on until tomorrow. And you're going to regret this when I take back my rocket ships and tell everyone you're on the Epstein list.
The only list I'm on is Santa's good boy list.
Is he gone?
I think he's on to me, Jeffrey. What's your deal, Elon? You're supposed to be my dad.
I mean, people are creative. They don't take long putting out these hit pieces, I guess, for lack of a better word. But that's what it looked like two children or two, immature.
Good evening, I'm Mike Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. The relationship between President.
But that's somebody already had posted that. It was kind of funny. It was good.
Cher Calvin, the relationship between President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk has collapsed into a public feud filled with insults and threats.
It began with simmering tensions over Musk's harsh criticism of the president's big, beautiful bill that is now a full-fledged fight. Shelby Nelson live to drill down on the punches and counterpunches. Shelby.
Sure, Micah, that feud really spilled out, and we saw it in dramatic fashion today, each one exchanging those really nasty words and threats. Now, earlier, we did see the reaction from other people online as well, but quite a bit of reaction coming from all sides.
What once appeared to be an unbreakable relationship now fractured as President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk's very public feud unravels at the seams and in real time. When asked Thursday morning by reporters what President Trump thought about Musk's repeated criticism of the president's big, beautiful bill and how it could impact the Senate vote.
I've always liked Elon. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country. Elon knew the inner workings of this bill. All of a sudden he had a problem. And he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate because that's billions and billions of dollars.
Something the president claims Musk knew for months, and that not everyone wanted to buy electric cars in the first place. Musk, however, says that was an obvious lie. Adding to the friction, a tale of two social media platforms, with each firing off at each other. On Truth Social at 11:37, Trump threatens to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts, saying, quote, "I was surprised that Biden didn't do it." About 30 minutes later, Musk turning to his social media platform X, saying, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public." Musk referring to American financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who had a list of rich and powerful friends. Epstein died by suicide in prison. Names of many powerful people are mentioned in Epstein court documents. The president has denied any connection to Epstein.
It's not clear whether Musk has any inside information or whether he's just going on what's in the public record.
One sharp verbal attack after another, the president saying, "I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago."
Yeah.
Jack Pitney, professor of government at Claremont McKenna College, says this fallout between what he says are two very big egos was inevitable, but it is possible for the two to make amends down the line. Much of the spat stems from the bill now moving through Congress, which has already received criticism from some of Trump's most ardent supporters.
Republicans also have to worry about Elon Musk, who has indicated that he would put money into efforts to defeat people who vote for this. That puts the House Republicans in a squeeze, and I don't know how they're going to get out of it.
Now, Musk replied to Trump's threat of terminating his governmental contracts, saying that SpaceX would begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. That expert I spoke to says that puts into question our participation into the International Space Station. That's the very latest. Chair Michael, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Shelby.
Yeah, so anyway, you guys, y'all seen there's been a lot going on. We should have did this a lot earlier, but we were busy. And this is so important, but we don't want to see the collapse of our leaderships, especially our president, that I think that what people need to do is support President Trump. It's like the whole world wants his attention. He has to deal with a war that shouldn't have started in Ukraine, that was started by the Democrats, that they should have never allowed that to happen, but that's what they wanted. War in Gaza, he's been working on inflation, economy. He's been bringing jobs to this country. It's like, and he allowed Elon Musk to, be part of his cabinet meetings and to have Doge, so he's been really supportive of Elon as well with all his endeavors. And sometimes you can't let everyone in. And I think that President Trump started looking at him as a friend, and he shared too much with him. And that's a mistake a lot of us make. We share too much. Elijah. Yeah, that we share too much. But anyway, you guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. We'll be on earlier tomorrow. We should have been on top of this because this is so crazy. This is almost like this is like a soap opera. The things that's going on, it just doesn't seem right. Like, we need real adults in office. We don't need someone like Elon Musk having a tantrum. He having a full-fledged tantrum and pity party. He's, having a pissy fit. I mean, he should have handled this like a grown man, like an adult. Call the president. He has more access to J.D. Vance has. You don't even see J.D. Vance. And I would love to hear what J.D. Vance has to say about all of this. Because he knows how to, he's smooth, J.D. Vance. I didn't like him initially, but J.D. Vance is a dog. That Harvard education ain't no joke. And he's, a Marine or whatever. So he'll come right at him. And he knows how to just, calculate on everything and just put it together. And but he's going to be in support of President Trump. And I think that's important right now because you got Lindsey Graham over Ukraine, not in South Carolina where he belongs, spending our taxpayer dollars. You got Van Hollen, he wanted to go over El Salvador. You got all these politicians, Democrats or whatever. They're doing everything except for the American people. So we had enough of it. Elon, Trump would have won without you because we're not robots. It's the American people that voted for him and that wanted him in office. So anyway, we thank you initially for your support, but you're wrong at this point. You didn't win the election for him. The people did. We the people won the election for President Trump. We the people. We the people.
Yeah, Trump already had it in the bag.
Yeah, he already had it in the bag. He won not only that, Elijah, thank the moderators. He won the popular vote.
Thanks to the mods.
No, I'm saying say their names. I can't see it up close.
I have to say their names.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Booski.
Yeah, thank you. Off to all the moderators. I think the Outlaw, come on. Hey, Outlaw. And who else is on there? There's like 3 of them came on.
What was her username? Let me scroll up. Scrolling up.
But they're not on there now. Okay, thank the ones that you see on there.
I see her now. Indoor woman. Thank you to Indoor Woman.
Okay, wait. Thank you for all the great moderators that we have. And we should have came on a lot early because this was so juicy. But anyway, now I know everybody had the story by the time we came on. But anyway, thanks you guys. We'll be probably on tomorrow because I know that Trump and Elon probably they're gonna blow this thing up more because this tick for tack ain't over with. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Thank you for joining Speak the Truth 2.0. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments. We love reading comments. We do check for comments after the broadcast. We're gonna start uploading shorter just shorter, we're going to upload shorter versions of Speak the Truth 2.0 because we want people to interact more. I know that they be kind of long and people are not going to listen, to the whole thing. And of course, we're going to bring people on. Elijah wanted to bring them on tonight, and I said, let's bring some people on. So we're going to, make some changes in the near future. But thanks, you guys. Bye. God bless.